today I'm going to show you a beautiful laneway behind me. It's called Gang Delima or Delima Alley, which is located in East Jakarta. And today I'm not alone. There's also Pak Agus. Hello Pak Agus.
Hello Anna. Thank you for asking me. Following your following you virtually, walking through Delima Alley in East Jakarta. Okay. In order to make your observation more theoretical, I give an introduction for your topic: informal, formal morphologies, and incremental urbanism. These concepts are derived by Kim Dovey from his assemblage thinking. Twofold. Simply, twofold gives us understanding that realities have two sides, like as a penny, opposites in one thing. In Wilford, Dovey noticed a phenomena of territorialization and deterritorialization, and next reterritorialization in urban settlement. And you found the phenomena in Gang Delima where you are observing, Anna, and you find both formal and informal, and the both are influence each other in one thing, the Gang Delima itself. Because assemblage is a derived philosophy of becoming, belief that reality is something most continuously. Okay, continue your observation, Anna. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pak Agus, for the introduction. So now, let's begin our tour and observation of Gang Delima. Let's go. Gang Delima has been developed since 1976, managed by Perumnas and supported by World Bank. Houses in the area are formally built as a single story with 20 square meters of total area. As the time goes by, the mix of the multi-story and extended building area came as a result of the becoming process of the settlement. This is the portrait of a mix between a formal network access and compact laneway with a fully informal architecture that we get through the morphology. The laneway network has about 5 to 10 meters width for each block of houses, and width lengths about 1.2 meters width. Gang Delima accommodates about 55 households per neighborhood, and in this video, we will only go for 2 neighborhoods. After a short walk from the green entrance, we'll find the first branch of the laneway. And at the end of the first branch, there is a communal space and a PAUD, or kind of a preschool for kids. The building types are showing the variety of the building functions and the activity of the settlements. It is very common to see some residential and some small retail houses like warung or small shop and warkop or small traditional cafe in the area. There is a communal space in the area here. It is an open field and air patra or ruang publik terbuka ramah anak. Air patra is managed and owned by the local government. However, due to COVID-19, it is temporarily closed. And now we will talk about the material and interfaces on some buildings within the settlements. Most of the buildings are coated with colorful paint. Either metal sheet or common roof tile are used for the roof. There are parts of the laneways like post coupling or security posts covered with sheet metal for relief from rain and the sunlight. Many houses have fences for security, but not a few of them without fence. Most entrances are personalized with wooden door and lined with plants. Next, we will see the map of Gang Delima on the right and the framework of life work visit triangle from Kim Dovey on the left. We could see the overlapping functions in Gang Delima. The green square here is air patra that accommodates the public and social space of the settlements. And the laneway here is dominated by the residential with red color, even though there are local shops on several points of the laneway intersections. Then, from our tour, we could see a typical segment of setbacks interfaces and the vegetation role between the adaptation of permeability and setback criteria. Some setbacks have significant impact for motorcycle, bicycle, and foot cart access, while the narrower lane will give more private interface due to the limited access.
So, Pak Agus, what do you think about our tour in Gang Delima?
Okay, thank you, Anna. Yes, by observing Gang Delima, we can find empirical matters in everyday life that show us about formal, informal morphologies and incremental urbanism. What is benefit for us? It's important to answer why this is some case that some facilities are built in public spaces, such as urban parks, become empty and do not attract people to come, and cause these facilities worse maintenance. Maybe this park is designed only by formal approach, focus on aesthetic only, and everyday informality does not become the concerns. Lesson learned: if architect and urban designer design something, make sure they understand the incremental urbanism as their design context, in order to make the design result as a part of social change of urban citizen. Of course, change to better life. Yeah. And Anna, thank you for your observation. And I think this is in the comments, yeah, to introduce and appreciate all of my students, including you, Anna, in exercising mapping urbanities with exercise actually thinking in everyday life. Yeah. By watching this video, Anna and treated with me together with Anna and her friends, all of my students. I hope that the next year my other student is also interested on to use mapping urbanistic exercise the assembly thinking, yeah, because the reality is very complex. It's not simple, because it helps us to uncover the social practice of everyday life of will form. Thank you, Anna, and goodbye.
Okay, thank you, Pak Agus. So, in conclusion, as Pak Agus has said, the social change is the key for architect and urban designer to understand the incremental urbanism of the settlement as a design context. Why? Because even though the formal planning and approach is adapted, the informality is still there and emerges by itself. So we need to consider the incremental factor of the settlements. Then, this is our end of tour for today. Thank you so much for watching.